Hi there. In this video I will read the new revision I have made for my now almost 12-year-old book. I wrote it actually 11 years ago. I published it. Here you can see May 2015. But I wrote it like almost a year before that. I started to write it inspired by mythologies and whatnot. So the old book, it used to read like a chronicle or a manual. I mean, as if from a perspective from an autistic historian or something, you know, like everything was in details. He did this, he felt that, he said this, which is good if you use it as a reference for video games like I did, but it's not good for a novel. That's why I'm revisiting that whole book and I'm making it an actual novel now. I will not only will I completely novelize the manual there, I will actually finish the book this time around. When I say finish, I mean the first book. I had planned a second part for it, but I never came around to it. It takes a lot of time to write it in the style I back then chose to write it in. Now that I choose this more metaphorical way of expressing what the characters see and do and everything, it goes a bit faster, I have to admit. You don't have to go that much into detail of what everyone is thinking and saying and doing. But yeah, I'm talking too much. Let me jump right into the book. Ervenfell, The Alteration by Dejan You. Nothing yet indexed. I'm still writing. Extra is gonna be just something really quick, really small. It won't even be a full page. And just say what era and what time this is. That's it. Act 1. And this will probably be named The Prediction of Past, just like the first chapter. A quest for enlightenment, a visit from afar. The screams. Okay. The scream did not begin, it arrived. It tore through her as if she had been hollowed out and filled with it. 1,000 voices layered into one, breaking bones that did not exist, shattering the silence of the dark. Pain followed sound, then weight, then terror. Her eyes opened, colorless, a warped mirror of Ervenfell. The world was stripped down to shape and motion, jagged silhouettes where mountains should have been, blurred lines where the horizon once lay, as if reality itself had forgotten how to finish forming. She could not smell the air, could not taste her own breath. Even sound began to collapse, stretching thin and distant, until a single cry rose above it all. Something enormous screamed, not from the sky, but from the earth. The ground convulsed beneath her feet, splitting open in vast, crooked wounds. From depths it emerged, an abomination, freed from its ancient binding. It did not walk, it expanded. Just a short pause. Now I stretch it. All the lore in the old book I have will move to the end of this book. So if someone does become curious about more about it, there will be like these apostrophes here with the page number of the topic that you can then look up. Okay, sorry for the interruption. Let's continue. Roots of flesh and shadow burst from its core, thick as tree trunks, slick with darkness, splitting stone and soil alike. They multiplied endlessly, crawling across Ervenfell with intent, not hunger, but certainty. This was not chaos, this was design. Cities vanished beneath the writhing mass, towers folding like paper, mountains cracked along glowing fault lines, collapsing inward. Rivers boiled away into ash and steam, leaving behind scars of white stone. Then void. Total, absolute. The sky went black, not like night, but like something closing its eyes. Darkness swallowed her whole again. She stood nowhere. Breathing followed her. Slow, raspy and wheezing. Too close. She turned, the breathing remained behind her. Again and again, always behind. Her pulse hammered in her ears as panic clawed upwards. She searched blindly for light, for shape, and for escape. Two eyes ignited in the dark. Red was awake. Fire erupted around her, sudden and violent. Within the flames, Illyria burned. Towers folded inward like broken bones. The land screamed as something titanic moved through it, unseen except for the ruin it left behind. What are you? She whispered, the words torn from her rather than spoken. The abomination turned. This is the abomination in question. Its mouth unfolded far too wide, stretching beyond form, beyond reason. Thus. The words struck her like a death sentence. In that instant she understood. This was not a warning. This was a vision of possibility, if not a memory from the future. Ervenfell would fall. She woke choking on air. Light bled violently from her eyes, flooding the chambers before receding, leaving her shaking in the aftermath. Her heart thundered as she pressed both hands against her chest, fighting the echo of dread. Dear goddess Etaluris, she whispered hoarsely, again you bless me and curse me with the same premonition. The pain followed, as it always did, a sharp, punching pressure behind her eyes, drilling inwards. She rose slowly from her bed, one hand braced against her brow, waiting for the world to stop spinning. She was young in appearance, as all Allurians were, but her reflection carried the exhaustion of centuries. Long golden hair spilled freely down her back. Her ears curved gently, shorter than most of her kin. Her eyes, green and blue intertwined, held forest and sea, calm and storm together. Her dress steered as moved. Her dress steered as she moved, deep forest green, orchids woven through the fabric, as though the garment itself was alive. A queen's dress, Queen Arana II. The chamber felt suffocating. Emerald curtains sealed the night away, trapping stale air and lingering dread. She pushed through the silver doors, crossed the silent throne room, and moved towards the balcony, drawn by instinct rather than thought. Leaf and wood breathed beneath her. Homes shaped from living trees grow rather than build. This was the old way, the right way. Though the city of Setalur ruled in name of her queendom, Leafenwood still remembered what harmony meant. The castle itself was the greatest tree of all, Ueno Leruvo, the tree of the sky. Its vast form bent into halls and towers by magic few still understood. She crossed the throne room in haste, no lords, no voices, no arguments. She had ordered silence when the visions began to worsen. Solitude dulled the pain, if only slightly. At the balcony she rested her hands against the railings and drew in a slow breath. Cold night air brushed her face. The sky scratched endlessly above her. The words surfaced unbidden. This is the queen. A quest for glory, a quest for vengeance, a quest for retribution, a quest for purification, a quest for enlightenment. Pausing but a moment before she continued. The companionship of truth, the one who lost all, the one who regrets all, the ill-stricken and his sibling, a wizard from afar. She whispered in the ancient Allurian night. Now I could read you the Allurian way to pronounce this, but here it would be Nalvlo Nina Inaule. But I'm not gonna do that for all now. The premonitions did not confine themselves to sleep. They stalked her waking hours, seized her body without warning. She knew that if even one of these paths failed, Ervenfell would drown in darkness she had seen. She had sent a messenger bird to Illyria 2 weeks ago. No reply. The thought tightened her chest as a cold breeze brushed her face, until a knock shattered the stillness. Enter, Invildur, she called. Footsteps approached, measured, familiar. Invindul entered in full armor, zernite and platin catching faint reflections of moonlight. Indigo hair framed a face covered by discipline rather than age. He dropped to one knee before her. You have a visitor, my queen. Arana turned from the balcony and sat on her throne. It is a man claiming to be Darvomir of Illyria, Invindul continued. He carries an Illyrian aura. Her breath caught. Here we can see the image that portrays the scene. Darvomir, she straightened. Let him enter, and prepare Marnamur for travel. You must also leave at first light for Leafwood Port. Invildur hesitated only long enough to bow. It will be done. When he departed, the throne room felt suddenly vast. The last time she had seen Darvomir had been during the Oakenfell incident, where he prevented tragedy with his powerful Illyrian magic. The doors opened. He entered slowly, impossibly tall, even amongst the tallest of elves. Time had softened him, but not diminished him. Brown hair faded to white halfway down his back, copper-brown robes flowing loosely around his frame. His pointed head cast a shadow across thick white brows and a wide mustache. His stern expression cracked the moment he saw her. My dear Arana. He approached forward, then caught himself settling instead of clasping her hands and bowing, the old alluring greeting. Darvomir, she said softly, it has been too long. She ignored formality and pulled him into an embrace. He laughed quietly. Careful, my dear. I am no longer built for surprise attacks. How long has it been? She asked. He removed his hat, scratching his head. A century? 2? The Oakenfell trouble was 125 years ago, she replied somewhat cold. His smile faded. Nasty business. Then his eyes sharpened. When Leafenwood called, I requested permission to come myself. The inner circle agreed. Though they didn't tell me much, so enlighten me, dear. He studied her closely. What troubles you? She explained, not everything, but enough. The dreams, the creature, the name, thus. Darwin paced slowly. Someone attempting to free an abomination with those seal-breaking abilities? He shook his head. It defies reason. There are those who wish only ruin, Arana said quietly. That is why we must alter what I have seen. He stopped. Then tell me how, he said quietly, since I am clearly your visit from afar. He hesitated. I was thinking I might begin by locating the dusts of Degrim. Do not. Her hand closed around his sleeve. Do not pursue Degrim the god-slaying sword. It will end you, and Ervenfell with you. Their eyes met. Understanding flickered through this. Then her body stiffened, light surging behind her eyes. She staggered back as white radiance spilled outwards. Thin arcs of energy crawled across her skin. The air thickened, her feet lifted from the floor. Another vision, Darwin murmured. Arana, guide me. Her voice echoed unnaturally. Ride west tonight. Make haste for Morganwell. There you will find the companionship of truth. Tell the human of Degrim. Guide them into Agara Tree Hills, to the Guardian, to your old friend. Many paths converge there. Tell the human to trust his heart. She descended slowly, collapsing into her throne. Exhaustion hollowed her eyes, drained the color from her face. Darvomir knelt beside her. And what after that? Her voice was faint now. I do not know. Some paths I have already set in motion. This may be enough. She blinked heavily. Darvomir, after you meet the human, go to Sinol. Wait for the brothers. You will feel it, the creature. Show them the way. Her eyes closed. She did not move. Invidul entered moments later. I will tend to her, he said quietly, lifting Arana into his arms. Darvomir stood in silence until the doors closed behind him. In the corridor he paused. As before, he whispered, your visions refuse to lie. The descent through Bueno Luervo took time. At the stables, two Allurian soldiers waited beside a unihorse. Darvomir mounted without resistance. Marnamur seems to like you, one of them said. He usually allows only Queen Arana to mount him. Darvomir smiled faintly and stroked the creature's neck. Then I am honored. Beyond Leafenwood's glow, darkness swallowed the road. He dismounted briefly, retrieving a dead branch and reshaping it with a simple spell. Suwachata Elarel. Light bloomed at its tip. He remounted, lifting the glowing staff. Better, he told Marnamur. Let us not collide into any trees. Here's an image of them. Together they rode west toward Morganville, toward fate already set in motion. And that is basically the first chapter. So this queen has visions, and this Illyrian powerhouse of a mage responds to her because they have some history with that Oaken Hill incident. And now he's doing his part to help prevent this apocalypse in a way. This is where chapter 2 starts. This is how far I got so far. But yeah. Okay, thank you for listening, and I got about 20 more chapters to go through, so